Oh, my Lord, it is TV10 Podcast episode 0335.
That's right, 335 episodes that we have of the TV10 Podcast. I am Tommy Milagro.
I'm Bill Frost, and special guest, please introduce yourself.
Excuse me, Mr. Frost, if I may, let me channel my inner Paul Heyman when I say the following. Ahem. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you the man, the brand, the king of the lemonade stand from Devotional Championship Wrestling. This is Manny Lemon.
That was pretty good. I really dig that. How we doing, guys?
All right. It's weird to have a professional athlete on here. Usually we have couch potatoes.
Couch potatoes. Hey, I guess I'm honored.
No, sir. You bring to us a certain gravitas, a certain ethereal presence to our fine podcast, which has a dozen, as far as we know, listeners wanting to watch / listen to this fine podcast here. Quote, those people watching the TV10 podcast can only watch it through the Teddy Bear Nanny Cam in the fourth basement of the TV10 podcast, although no one is watching anything in the fourth basement because we have no people here as we speak. We're still quarantined.
I'm the only person at the studio here, but the Diamond Room chat channel is just blowing up all over the place. So tell us, Tommy, who is sponsoring us this week?
Well, thankfully, because of our esteemed guest here, and thank God, our fine sponsor, Ogden's Own Distillery, brought to us the Porter's Blueberry Liqueur Fire to the podcast here.
Ooh,
we mixed that up.
It's been a while since I've had that one.
But it's important because we mixed it up with some lemonade with a lemon wedge because, you know.
Because classy.
Yes, and because we want to bring honor to the king of the lemonade stand. Normally, Manny, we would just give you a drink, but, you know, we gotta be.
It's a good thing you didn't, because I'd be having a taste of that zest, and I'd be kicking doors down and breaking walls by now.
Oh my God! It would just be pandemonium here, and God knows you would not be able to fight out for our producer, La Chai Girl, our Chola Furiosa. Which, by the way, Chola Furiosa may be kicking down your door. Just warning you, you may want to get your lemons ready for that shit. So.
Lock the load.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna get the TV news out of the way quickly, so as quickly as possible, so we can get to some good old sports report here. Did that sound weird? What am I doing?
Well, let's ask.
Who am I? What's going on? What's happening here?
Let me ask you this here, Mr. Frost, because we have an important guest, a king, if you will, the founder of Devotional Championship Wrestling. And as we ask of all of our fine guests that join us for this podcast.
Oh, yeah, the tradition. We forgot. We almost forgot.
Yes. So, Mr. Lemon, if I may, this is the segment where we ask you, what the fuck are you watching?
Watching right this second?
Oh, just in general, what do you like? And are you watching anything you like on TV at the moment?
I mean, I was hip on the Tiger King, but I know that's kind of out of phase. But
I'm sure there'll be more.
I mean, far as Netflix, Amazon Prime, I mean, I kind of just Jurassic World, Jurassic Park's been back on there, so that's been kind of my go-tos.
Cool. All right.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, as far as the TV news goes, I have good news and bad news. I'll hit you with the bad news first. The Venture Brothers has been canceled over at Adult Swim after 7 seasons, which took them 17 years to make. So, they're not exactly the most timely group of producers, but it's one of my favorite shows, and I'm hoping it could find a home somewhere else. But the good news here is that Doom Patrol over on HBO Max has been picked up for a 3rd season, so we'll see that maybe next year. So that's some good news.
Manning, have you had a chance to see Doom Patrol in any way, shape, and/or form?
I peeked it a little bit. I could dig it.
It's good and weird.
In other words, we gotta figure out a way to have you watch it in some sort of streaming form. That's not HBO Max, where Roku and HBO Max are not fighting against each other. Come on, HBO Max.
We'll send a VHS tape over.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
foolproof. It just sounds warmer.
Yeah, I dig that.
Coming up this week, Wednesday, the return of Archer on FXX actually, and next day on Hulu. Season 11, Archer's out of the coma that he's been in for the last several seasons.
Have you ever seen Archer before, Manny?
I've not, honestly.
Oh my goodness! Is it because you're just wrestling so much you don't get to see any of the TV that we're talking about here?
Yeah, I mean I'm so dang busy that I honestly don't watch too much television. I mean, I peep shows from time to time, but I mean, it's having the time to view them and pursue them.
Yeah, well, it's hard to measure up against what I watch because I am literally a professional TV watcher. So I watch a metric fuck ton of TV shows, and Tommy has no life, so no one can match up to our input on TV.
He's not lying on that part there, Manny, because I'm literally in a cardboard box trying to scam off the Wi-Fi from one of the neighbors. But let's face it, Maverick, which is Avengers' first stop, doesn't need to use the Wi-Fi that much. Let's be honest.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Here's the other big premiere of the week coming up on Friday on Netflix. Ratchet, the origin story of Nurse Ratchet from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest from Ryan Murphy, starring Sarah Paulson. Basically, this is a very specific season of American Horror Story is what it looks like. It looks very colorful, very weird. It's set in the 1947 to be exact, and it's basically how Nurse Ratchet came to become what she was in the famous Jack Nicholson movie, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Now, remind me here, sir, the star of Ratchet, what's her name?
Sarah Paulson.
Thank you. So, is this kind of like a Breaking Bad, Saul Goodman kind of origin story here?
It could be, but a little more horrific, a little more sadistic, and basically, we all know that Breaking Bad was the prequel origin story of Malcolm in the Middle. We all know that. So this is kind of like that, kind of in the same vein there.
See, kids, Malcolm in the Middle featured the great actor Bryan Cranston, who became, Heisenberg, because let's face it, New Mexico so screwed up.
So you're nostalgia splaining me, the guy who drops nothing but 70s TV show references.
Mostly, I'm explaining that to the final listeners that
the final listeners that are still hanging in there by a thread. Okay, that's fine.
Mostly Manny, who's going, what the hell is going on? This would be much more simpler if I was in a wrestling ring.
No, it's good. It's good. Keep going. You two go at it.
Yeah, see this. Manny follows the fine tradition of us having guests on who've never actually heard the podcast. So you're just another in a long line of guests we've had who've never heard a second of this show, which is totally fine. You're in the majority. It's totally okay.
At least till now, we'll get it out there. That's good.
Oh yeah, we're gonna tap into your market. We're gonna ride your coattails.
Yes, and for the record, Manny, kayfabe. That's all I'm gonna say on the subject.
And coming up on Sunday is the Emmy Awards, hosted by Jimmy Kimmel. And Doom Patrol isn't up for anything, so I don't care.
Okay. Is there any one such thing we should give even two shits about with regards to the Emmys?
I should have pulled up the list. I will eventually pull up the list here when we detour into the sports report, and I'll have a second here to pull up the Emmy Awards list, and we should just go there right now.
Are you saying it's time for everyone to get really into sports, sir.
It's sports with Tommy Milagro. Go team!
From the sports desk of the TBTM podcast, we deliver to you only the sport of professional wrestling devotional edition. So, Annie, you and I, we are sports aficionados here. And I will only bring up a couple of parts. I'm going to have you I'm going to have you tag in near the end here, sir, as we were talking about in the green room / lobby area of the Zoom / chat of our podcast here. And for listeners of the TV10 podcast, the Zoom / lobby area can only be viewed by our Zirconium members of the TV10 podcast. If you're watching on the Teddy Bear Nanny Cams, just saying. Anyway.
And if you're in the Diamond Room chat room here.
Oh, yes. But let's break it down to this. Some sad news over the weekend. We're going to start with WWE. They're letting go people again. The biggest names of which are Gerald Briscoe, one half of the Briscoe brothers, who have been not only one half of the tag team, the Briscoe brothers, in WWF/E, but also an integral part as an agent as well as manager of WWE. He was let go as part of the budget cuts. He is let go, and there is word that others are going to be let go. We'll probably hear more about it on Monday. Not right now, as we're going live on air as the TV10 podcast is going on here. Which, by the way, Mandy, have you heard any others, or can you comment on that as of this time?
I think the biggest name was the Briscoe that I've heard of. I haven't heard of any others as of late that have been kind of eye-opening.
Okay. Hold on. I'm getting word now from the TV10 podcast here. Actually, Mike Rotunda, which most fans will know as IRS Erwin R. Shyster, has also been let go. WWE talent, as well as an agent for WWE, and the father of Bo Dallas and Bray Wyatt, also let go. This will be very interesting, especially as far as Bray Wyatt goes. More on that story as it develops here. We're also going to mention here, we kind of mentioned this last week, which I understand if you didn't get a chance to listen to TV10 podcast here, Manny, because we forgot to give you the code to listen in early. Sorry about that. I blame the sports desk writers. But, as we mentioned before, NXT used to be on Wednesdays on USA, now shifting to Tuesdays, or as they're calling it, Super Tuesday, which saw Finn Balor win the NXT Championship from Adam Cole, baby. What that means is as far as ratings are concerned, who's to say? But Finn Balor regained the championship. Big news around that part. And it also means that they're not competing with AEW anymore, which we'll come back to. But it means now they're competing with Impact Pro Wrestling on Access TV. Do you catch the sports on Access TV or on the USA Network, for that matter, Manny?
Oh, yeah. I mean, every now and then I'll watch Raw, and every now and then NXT and Impact. I mean, I always try to stay, at least somewhat informed on what's going on in the world, because it's a world that I'm involved in, and I kind of need to be educated in that field if I want to be an expert. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So,
yeah.
I mean, go ahead.
No, please, go on there, Manny.
No, I was just gonna say, I mean, like, as far as what Impact's doing and who they're signing, as far as what NXT going to Tuesday night. I mean, it does go head to head with Impact, but at the same time, wrestling's changed so much where, DVR is now a thing. So, you don't have to really pick and choose, But
Absolutely. Now, because of this shift from NXT on Tuesdays, they're in competition with Impact. We don't know what the ratings are yet. compared to NXT versus Impact. We're gonna have to. We're getting our top members in the field focused on that. I will say though, as it relates to AEW, shifting to that for a second, this past week they ran unopposed, no bullshit sports like what's this thing called, NBA playoffs, whatever. If it's not involving the Jazz, fuck it, I don't care. The point is,
well, the thing is, all of those other so-called sports are all happening simultaneously, which is very unusual for all the sports all the time to be happening at the same time.
right? And in these troubling times, hash brown, copyright, restricted, trademark, whatever. It's interesting to note that this past week, AEW, All Elite Wrestling, ran with ratings at 1.18 million viewers. So that means they managed to, well, I won't say steal away, but they managed to run away with a lot of viewers that used to be focused on NXT. So that means nobody gives a shit about the sports like, and I use this loosely, basketball, or we'll find out how this goes with football.
Or the hockey ball.
Yes, but the biggest story, AEW, and many you know it, you and I know this, showed a very important debut of a best man in, no, I'm sorry, kids, not Brian Pillman Jr. No, kids, not some schmo you saw on your Twitch channel. It is Nero, formerly Rusev, of the WWE, making his debut onto a big channel like TNT. And no, sir, there are no glass ceilings as far as the the sports desk is concerned. It is going to be a very glass-shattering moment when you're going to deal with a Miro Day. Can I get an agreement on that there, Mr. Lemon?
Yep, I agree with you fully. I was a big shock to see Miro make his debut there. I really thought he would have stayed with WWE, but go wherever makes you happy.
And more importantly, it's interesting because when we last saw Miro / Rusev, he had dark hair, but he came in with blonde hair. So very interesting, very good promo because Elite recognizes Elite. And as far as the sports desk is concerned, we always recognize Elite. And speaking of Elite, that brings us to the last two parts of the TV Town sports desk segment, which is, and we mentioned this before, but as of this segment here, as we're recording live on air, this September 15th, we'll have the United Wrestling Network showing on prime time. And this is important because this involves the NWA, Billy Corgan's NWA, if you want to go that route. And it is going to feature a lot of big matchups here. And in fact, Manny, can I have you take a minute and highlight some of those matches that you're aware of?
I mean, the biggest one, man, is the NWA Championship. Nick Aldis versus Mike Bennett. Mike Bennett's looking for redemption in his life. I would not be surprised if he actually walks out of there the NWA, the NWA Heavyweight Champion.
And let's clarify this point here, because Mike Bennett, formerly of WWE, never mind that Mike Kanellis bullshit that WWE was forcing down everybody's throat. So between him and, do we know if Maria Kanellis is going to be involved at this point?
It doesn't say, does it? It might be. I don't know.
Either way.
Yeah.
Go on.
I was just going to say, I mean, you never say never, but, I mean, as of right now, it just looks like it's just him going in there solo.
And I will only say this part, because when it comes to the United Wrestling Network, and this is going to be a big deal because NWA was on a good coast on the YouTube channel up until, COVID, and everything halted as a result. So this is a big deal because United Wrestling Network, which is David Marquez, who has done championship wrestling from Hollywood, championship wrestling from Arizona, among other wrestling entities that I can't get at the moment here, which involves some other wrestlers who have been to Utah, such as, and we were talking about this earlier in the lobby area. What's the other matchup that we can see on the on Primetime Live as it's being detailed there, Manny?
So it looks like we got a big tag team matchup. We got the Tribe with Navajo Warrior and the Hawaiian Lion versus the Wolves Zaddies.
Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, I mean, Navajo Warrior and Hawaiian Lion have been, been natives to Utah. So this will be, those are the guys I'm rooting for.
And that's going to be among the big matchup, along with the main event, which is as Manny Lemons mentioned, the 10 pounds of gold with the national treasure Nick Aldis facing off against Mike Bennett. And now you can catch this on Fight TV, and there's two ways you can do this here, Mr. Frost. Now you can either catch each episode, and it's going to be episodes 1 from 4 on Fight TV. Of course, you'd have to subscribe to the services for only $7.99.
Not a sponsor.
Or you could try to get episodes 1 through 4 out of the bundle for only $23.99.
Definitely not a sponsor.
Because nobody reached out to us. And I'm only saying this slightly kidding, slightly serious, Manny. Get Mr. Marquez to reach out to our...
we're not running any TV Tan discount specials through Fight TV at the moment. So basically what we can do is we can have you contact Tommy Milagro and get his password.
Okay.
Just saying.
I'm saying that to all dozen listeners out there. Just contact Tommy Milagro and say, hey, what's your password?
Or, feed me money. That's all that happens. And finally, this.
Maybe you can pitch in a couple of bucks to help get Tommy a better cardboard box to live in.
Sir, we don't have time to get to my GoFundMe here, but
that'll be in the Patreon portion of the program. Yes.
Oh, are you saying we should get to my OnlyFans here now? Is that what it is? Is that what's going on?
Is that what it's come to? OnlyFans? Oh God. Okay.
Yeah, it's reached that point here. I'm just saying, but that's beside the point here. The important thing here, finally, this we at TV Tan Podcast always like to feature local talent, which brings us to the man, the brand, the king of the lemonade stand, which brings us to Devotional Championship Wrestling. Mr. Lemons, I cede the floor to you, sir.
Yes, sir. So, just like the sports desk has mentioned, Devotion Championship Wrestling is the premier promotion here in Salt Lake City, Utah. We actually ran our first show back in December of 2018, which we were actually called Festivus Fights.
Oh.
And it was I'm a big Seinfeld mark, so Festivus Fights. I wanted to around Christmas time, and it was the only other thing to do that was not December to Dismember or anything to that nature,
Yes.
But with the initial plan of actually running DCW, I just more wanted to have it just to do local shows just so my family and friends could see me. As far as my wrestling career, for the last 5 years, I've been on the road pretty much almost every weekend, performing, obviously not now with COVID, but, performing in pretty much in every state and every territory I could possibly work. And we just came back and just wanted to perform in front of my family and friends, and we just ran our first show, and the rest kind of took off. And it just it was kind of a market and a service that Utah wrestling needed to be served. So we started.
And it's on, and you can see it on the TV locally, right?
You can, yeah. So actually, we're on television every week now. So like I said, we started from doing it it was just going to be a one-time done deal, and now we've kind of grown it to where we're on local television, Utah CW30 every Sunday at 11 a.m. And then now we just recently partnered with Ohio Valley Wrestling and Al Snow, and we completely rebranded our whole entire training facility to become the Al Snow Wrestling Academy Utah. So now you can actually see our promotion in over 200 plus countries around the world.
Oh, right.
On the Amazon, Roku, Vimeo, all sorts of
cool.
All sorts of Roku and all those streaming devices channels. So it's kind of a big deal now. So I want to say we're pretty much just local, but we're now international.
And if I could interject for a second here, gentlemen, and I hate to stir controversy. I hate to stir the pot.
You
but
do not hate to do this.
None of that talk around sick the leeches on you, sir. No, but Manny, I would not be a professional sportscaster if I didn't ask, because I saw on the social medias from Andrew Sowell that apparently you guys are also featured on Amazon Prime too. Is that right?
Yeah. So that's part of our agreement with the Ohio Valley Wrestling and the Gladiator Sports Network. We were the first Al Snow Wrestling Academy in the United States, so we will be the first ones that are actually listed on the Amazon Amazon Prime.
Oh wow!
Right now, I think they announced today that they got DCW episodes 1 through 7 that are now featured on there, and it's kind of a real feeling, man. When you go and you click on the streaming device and you just see your products right there, it's a surreal feeling for sure.
So what we're saying, folks, is that if you feel like you don't want to find any, as Bill Ross has mentioned in podcast past, any fuck the 80s movies, and if you don't feel like you're into TV shows, which we'll get into in a second here, may we recommend that you watch the best sports program on there, that is Devotional Championship Wrestling, and that's locally here in Utah, or just go on Amazon Prime and look for, once again, what is the name, sir?
So Devotion Championship Wrestling or the Al Snow Wrestling Academy of Utah.
And we only mention that because you need more sports in your life because it's sports.
It's sports. So Tommy Milagro. Go team. Yeah,
Thank you.
I'm looking it up right now. ASWA Utah is what you'll be looking for on Amazon Prime Video. It appears there are 7 episodes up there right now.
That's right. Yes,
and
the first 7 decent.
Yeah, this is action from the ASWA Al Snow Wrestling Academies. You can now see action from the U.S., Romania, Denmark, and much more in Season 1. So it's up there. So if you got Prime Video, costs you nothing. You can totally watch it. Each episode is about half an hour long, so it's not going to, eat too much out of your daytime. And, it's there.
Yeah, and let's face it, until The Rock gets the XFL going properly.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Mr. McMahon. Did I say something wrong?
Our friend of the program, MK Bandit, I saw him post something, very nonchalantly, not for nothing, but it appears that the XFL will outdraw the NFL technically this year as far as viewership.
I seen that too.
Like, that's a good one.
To be fair, and just for disclosure here, Mr. Lemons, MK came onto our show way back when in 0040 episode.
Was it that long ago?
It was that long ago, sir. And I know you're forgetting about it because you drank heavily after that, which I don't blame you for.
And during.
Yes, and having said that, I'm only saying if the MK Bandit comes on to this current TP10 podcast, just know that we say this warmly. Right now, he's not welcome. Thank God we have a producer in Cholo Furiosa here.
All right, so I got the Emmys here, and actually, it's not a bad list. The Emmy nominations are led by Watchmen with 11 nominations, and then right behind it is Succession, also on HBO, 10 nominations. Ozark with 9 on Netflix. Marvelous Mrs. Maisel with 8 on Prime Video. Schitt's Creek has 8 nominations, and The Crown, Mrs. America, The Good Place, The Morning Show, Better Call Saul, Killing Eve, What We Do in the Shadows is in there. Dead to Me over on Netflix is in there. And, the only broadcast... Oh, Westworld is way down there with just 2 nominations. So,
What?
yeah, just 2. And The Handmaid's Tale, of course, is in there. And Better Call Saul, if I mentioned that. Netflix leads the pack with 37 nominations overall, followed by HBO, Hulu, FX, and Showtime only has 2 nominations, and they're not even in a major category. I don't know what they're for. But, so we got some good ones in there.
Bigger question, Manny. All the shows that Mr. Frost just listed, have you watched any one of those?
I actually really dig Ozark. I'm excited for the new season.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I just got word from the sports desk. They're just handing this to me too, because I know you have kids. If you want something to watch, especially during these COVID times, on Tubi, Tubi, catch Tiger Mask W. It's an anime program, and it features New Japan pro wrestlers like Kazuchika Okada and a host of others there. So good for the family. And by the way, it's going to be in Japanese, so it's dubbed. But don't let that deter you. It's good for the family there.
Yeah.
And I have my Fuck the 80s movie.
Oh yeah, this is the segment where we say fuck the 80s. We're working on the music here, so
yeah, this is
good,
actually a movie from 1990. So technically, kind of part of the 80s. It's part of the so-called Andy Sidris. I think that's how you pronounce his name. It's part of his what the hell is this thing called? It's called the Triple B series. So this guy had a whole series of movies. This was towards the tail end of them. It's an action film about a group of course, hot female agents who are going to take down some South American gun runners, but a majority of the action takes place in Las Vegas. Don't think too hard about it. But the thing about the thing here is the big villains here are Eric Estrada of Chips fame.
Fuck!
He's the Jack of Diamonds. He owns a casino, and of course he's a gun runner. And his sidekick, his henchman, his right hand man, Danny Trejo.
No.
Yeah.
Seriously?
A young skinny Danny Trejo, 1990 style, is in this thing.
Is his hair like cropped pretty short, or are we talking? Is it long or?
It's about shoulder length, so he's working on it.
Okay, and bigger question: does he have the stash, the Fu Manchu?
Oh, of course he does.
The Fu Manchu stash.
Oh, yes, he does. Oh, yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So this is called Guns, and it's part of this whole B movie action bullshit thing that probably all went straight to VHS at the time they were released. I believe it started with Malibu Express in 1985, and then Hard Ticket to Hawaii, which is especially terrible if you ever run across that. I think these are all on Amazon Prime Video. And then it was followed up by Picasso Trigger, and then Savage Beach, and then Guns in 1990 was the next one. And then there was a few more after that, and I think the whole thing wrapped up in 1998 with Lethal Ladies Return to Savage Beach. And these are all terrible action movies, and I cannot recommend them, but past stars of these things have included Playmate and Penthouse, Playboy Playmates and Penthouse Pets like Julie Strain, Donna Spear. And it's a bunch of hot women with big tits firing guns.
There are so many questions I have.
And occasionally,
so many questions.
Eric Estrada and Danny Trejo show up.
Let's start with that, unless I can't handle the barrage of imagery. I'm tagging in Manny Lemons here. Tag to you, Manny. Any questions you have?
On that, I don't know that movie.
No one knows these movies. Trust me, no one knows these movies.
We're the jobbers that are going to get beat down by this barrage of imagery. Just
Okay.
count us out. 1, 2, 3. We're done.
But
There are
Yeah.
no ways we can get through this.
I will say, if you want to, make your way into this franchise for whatever reason, I would highly recommend start with Hard Ticket to Hawaii. It's the best / worst of the bunch. I've seen all of them. Almost all of them. I'm gonna make my way through them into the 90s here. This guy Andy Sidris also he did Kojak back in 1975 as a director. Also did an episode of the Hardy Boys Nancy Drew Mysteries back in the 70s.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
He also was involved in an episode of MASH. Actually, no, the movie MASH, the original movie MASH.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So he was
Okay.
semi legit, but he's also dead. He died in 2007. So I don't think we'll see a closing chapter of the Lethal Ladies franchise. But I don't know. It could happen.
Okay. Is that our title of this episode, Lethal Ladies, or I was going to stick with King of the Lemonade Stand?
I think we should go with that. Yeah. And also, I have a sports-ish recommendation for the fans out there. I just noticed this.
Okay.
Apparently, this has been going on for a month or so now over on Fox Sports 1 and 2, FS1 and FS2, channels I don't normally get to. But they are rerunning the first season, the one and only season of the 1989-1990 classic sports series Roller Games, which was syndicated back in the day. Roller Games is basically Glow meets Bank Track Roller Derby. It's fucking insane. And I watched a few of them today, and it's over-the-top characters, and they have female and male teams compete. And the track is a bank roller derby track, but it's in a kind of a figure 8, so they got the wall of death. If you can skate up above the line at the very top, you get extra points. It also has a jump ramp on it, and skaters are getting thrown over the guardrail, which is metal, no padding whatsoever, onto a concrete floor, also no padding. I swear there must have been some serious injuries that happened during the taping of these things. It basically is roller derby Glow. It's ridiculous.
When was this recorded, sir?
This season broadcast. I remember watching it back in syndication in 1989 into 1990. I'm not sure how many episodes there were, but they were running those episodes on the weekends on FS1 and FS2. The teams included the T-Birds, Bad Attitude, the Maniacs, the Violators, the Rockers, and it's in the Hot Flash. It's pretty ridiculous.
Which is probably a good time to bring up for our guest here. Have you had a chance to see Glow on Netflix in any way, shape, and or form?
Yeah, I watched Glow. It was actually one of my wife's favorite shows. We watched it as she was starting to get into the wrestling business, so that kind of helped motivate her.
So, in other words, Glow inspires so many people. Remind me again, Mr. Frost, when can we expect the final season of Glow?
I don't even know anymore. Maybe next year, maybe. But
only because of everything that's going on.
Getting back to Roller Games here for a second. It included I remember they had halftime musical guests. So Lita Ford, Warrant, Expose all appeared on as a halftime performers on Roller Games. I think they've been cut from the new Fox Sports versions because they couldn't get the music rights to them.
For fuck's sake!
Yep.
Seriously?
Yeah. Also,
did they
also back in the day,
WWE this shit?
Yeah.
I mean,
back in the day, this show would air in a lot of markets. It would air at night against Saturday Night Live, or it would air during the day on Saturdays. That's when I remember seeing it. And occasionally it ran up against American Gladiators, and it beat it every time. But it only lasted one season here.
This angers me to a certain degree because WWE now has ECW's library, and they used a lot of entrance music, like the Sandman's Enter Sandman from Metallica. But when you watch it on the WWE Network for only $9.99,
not a sponsor,
they don't play that because they play something generic as fuck, and I'm going, No, it's supposed to be Enter Sandman. It's supposed to be the Sandman theme, and he's dancing around and drinking to something generic, and I'm going, no, that's not the way it's supposed to go. End rant.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah. So this is airing on the weekends. I think it's on actually Sundays and Mondays on Fox Sports 1 and 2. They kind of alternate. And so I'm not sure how many episodes there are, but it's pretty fucking ridiculous. I would recommend it. This is not to be confused with the revival in 1999 of Roller Jam, which was a toned down version of the same thing, but it was also on roller blades, or as they are referred to in the roller derby business as fruit boots.
Wait, hold up. That might be our title for this.
Roller. I know firsthand experience. Roller derby girls are not cool with roller blades. It's got to be the quads all the way. They do not take kindly to roller blades showing up on their tracks. Just so you know.
And now, Mr. Lemons, if you didn't know anything about roller derby, now you do.
I was going to say, I'm very educated now.
You know everything there is to know.
Yeah, and just so you're aware, the episode I was going to title The Band, the Brand, the King of the Lemonade Stand. Now, after hearing this, it may be titled Fruit Boots. So, just letting you know right there.
Well, we'll write it. We'll write them all down. We'll let the producer pick one.
Right, Artola Furiosa.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Apparently there were 13 episodes total of roller games back in the day. Just so you know. Yeah. And so we're gonna. That's the episode. We're gonna call it episode 0335 of the TV Tan podcast, brought to you by our
that would be
our liquid sponsor.
Yes, that would be Ogden's Own Distillery, the fine purveyors of not just Five Lives vodka, but also Porter's Fire, or in this case, the Porter's Huckleberry. That mixed up so well with the lemonade that we had here, squeezed by the very hands of our own Manny Lemons himself. But let's also not forget our good friends in Sugar House Distillery, Outlaw Distillery, Bohemian Brewery, which, by the way, did the Bohemian Brewery get you all your pallets of beer?
Yeah, I'm good and beered up. Good to go.
Thank God. Thank God. But also, and I say this to you as well, Mr. Lemons, if you are in downtown Salt Lake and you think to yourself, I need something to pair up this vodka with all the lemons I have, stop by our good friend Ivy, who runs Boostique in downtown Salt Lake, to ask how to combine the two. But if you're going to stop in Boostique, please, for fuck's sake, wear a mask.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
I have one more thing to add on roller games.
Oh, there's more.
There was a tiebreaker, and so in the case of a tiebreaker, two skaters would skate around a pit of alligators, and the first skater to skate around the pit 5 times or throw his or her opponent into the alligator pit was declared the winner. Make America,
right there.
Make alligators great again. Bring this tradition back.
Really? You're going MAGA for this shit?
Make alligators great again.
MAGA?
I think every sporting event could use an alligator pit.
Well, let me do this. If you're not ready for the roller games, can I just recommend, not just to you, Mr. Lemons, but to all our fine listeners, on Amazon Prime is probably the best TV show out there, and that is The Boys. And this is a superhero showdown gone so fucking wrong. And Mr. Frost, I forgot to ask you this last weekend, but let me ask you this weekend. Is it me, or is Billy Joel getting so much more airtime than is necessary?
This is a very Billy Joel heavy season. I don't know if he's got a hand in the profits here or not, but we're getting a lot of Billy Joel in season 2 of The Boys.
See, Mr. Lemons, The Boys is about a group of individuals that are trying to stop superheroes from being, dicks. I'm sure you face this in so many ways, shapes, and or forms, mostly with Andrew Sowell and pineapple-clad Tom Chad. I don't mind saying this on the air. I'm protected. That is pretty much how you can get into the boys. And there's one other thing I think we should mention here.
The one I want to mention is Woke on Hulu. From Keith Knight, a longtime cartoonist, a guy I know. I used to kind of work with in the newspaper business. He has a new series on Hulu about.
Do you have Hulu, Manny? By the way,
I do. I don't operate that one too much, though. I do have it.
Well, since you got it, I would recommend checking out Woke. It's pretty damn funny.
Okay. No, I got that from the list for sure.
Yeah.
I'm here to tell you, you will just never see Woke or The Voice in the same way again. And for that, I say, I'm sorry, not quite.
But of course, our biggest recommendation is ASWA Utah on Amazon Prime Video. Look it up; it's right there. 7 episodes, ready to go, right for you.
Ready to roll.
Yeah.
Yes, because they're not in a bubble, ladies and gentlemen. They are not. They're not COVID crazy. No, these are just some fine individuals doing what is important: the sport of professional wrestling.
Okay, we're going to say goodnight, America, so do it.
I will say goodnight, America. Normally, I would jiggle the handle and tell you to flush, but I give the last word to Mr. Manny Lemons.
Just for life. Good night, America.